Story 1. My literal dream car is the first car I owned. It was nothing special by any means, yet I find that it features prominently in a dream a couple of times a month. That has been going on for decades. I must have some unresolved feelings about that old car because I cannot seem to go more than a couple of weeks without dreaming of it. Story 2. I often miss my red 1999 Mustang. It was my first car. I got it used in 2007, and it lasted me until New Year's Eve 2015, when the wheel fell off in the parking lot of a grocery store. If I could get any car, it would be that one, but in better shape than it was at the end. Story 3. The one I used to own, Porsche 356 BT5, Porsche 350 SIXS are all sweethearts. They are lovely, even if all the ingredients are very Beetle-like. They are more than the sum of their parts. The T5 356B is just my favorite for mostly sentimental reasons. The C models drive better, and A models and Pre-A models are worth more money. But AB is what I want. Story 4. 2024 Subaru Outback. Everything stock, plus the sunroof. Sounds like an old person's car, but it's impressive. I rented one through Enterprise Car Rental, and I was impressed with how it looked and drove. Story 5. I've got a couple, but the ones I like most are small. I like the classic Mini Cooper and the Mazda Autism AZ1. Ideally, one or both of those cars would be brought back and modernized. Keep the same dimensions, improve safety, and either make them electric or give them newer, more efficient and powerful engines. That sort of thing. But I wouldn't want to see the interior modernized much. Keep the classic analog dash, real physical controls, and no touchscreens except maybe the option to install a touchscreen infotainment device where the radio goes. That would be the dream. In this scenario, yeah, the Autism AZ1 would be ideal. It's probably possible for me to buy an Autism AZ1 here in New Zealand and work on retrofitting and upgrading it myself, but it would be very expensive. It's a tiny Japanese sports car under the K-car classification. It's basically a go-kart with gull-wing doors. Just looks fun to drive, even if the engine is on the, well, smaller side, 657 cubic centimeters according to Google. Edit. I just looked it up, and there are very few of them here in New Zealand. Something like 4,500 to 5,000 were sold in total between 1992 and 1994. Story 6. 1986 Buick Grand National with low miles. Forza Horizon 5 is the only way I can have a Grand National, and I love it there, and I've loved it since Regular Car Reviews put out his video on it. Story 7. A DeLorean, but with some modern upgrades to make it not a disappointment to drive. What they are, I don't know. But my dream car also comes with a mechanic. Story 8. I had a 1994 as a kid, and I loved it. I loved the design. It was reliable and had a distinct engine rumble that I think about a lot. I wish I had been smart enough not to sell it to get something smaller. I would have kept it and maintained it. Such a cool-looking and feeling vehicle. Story 9. Reading all these comments makes me realize how humble I am with my dreams. I always wanted a Dodge Challenger, but unfortunately, it's discontinued. What I'm going to do very soon is buy a 2014 V8 Mustang GT from my sibling and rebuild it. Change the color, seats, rims, install a screen and some sensors so it will serve as a muscle car with some comfort for daily use. Story 10. I was a gnat's ass away from buying the Triumph TR7 from the show The Detectorists, the actual hero car. I had the money, but even though my wife was encouraging me at the time, I held back on my bidding. Stupid decision, as it went for a relative pittance. That's really the only car I want now. I would take it over a Bugatti. Story 11. So many. I wanted a Lexus LS since I was a child and now have an LS 460. Honestly and realistically, if I somehow end up with a Mazda RX-7 at some point in life, I'll be more than happy. Story 12. C6Z06. Currently have a C5 and don't think I could ever justify selling it, so it will be a while before I can get that upgrade. But it will happen one day. Story 13. It may sound ridiculous, but my dream car is a Miata. I love how their headlights open. I know it's inexpensive, but it wasn't sold in my country, so it's not available. If I ever can afford it, I have to import it from a place like Europe. Story 14. I have several dream cars. Toyota 2000 GT, Jaguar E-Type 1967, Stingray 1969, Camaro SS 1966, Nissan Skyline R34, Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 3, Mitsubishi GTO, Mazda Miata. Most of them are affordable, but man, am I poor. My goal is to try at least 2 of them before I die. Story 15. A low-mileage 6-speed manual Go Mango Dodge Challenger SRT Hellcat narrow body with black Laguna leather interior, black wheels and stripes, and a sunroof. I remember seeing the commercials for the Hellcat swinging through the streets when I was 10, and I've wanted one ever since. Story 16. When I own a nice car, I trash it. When I own a fast car, I crash it. Projects are never finished, and beaters never die. So give me something slow that I don't have the desire to make fast, that is not luxurious but is reliable. Oh man, I really have started getting old. Story 17. Tube chassis 408-stroker made it to a T56 in a Fox body Mustang. I did all the welding myself. Oh, and a Honda S2000. For a daily, I kind of also want to build a Crown Victoria into a Uda. Story 18. The project car in my garage, I won't get to until the kids are older. It doesn't matter what it is. What matters is that it is a perpetual project. And that is what makes it so dreamy to me. Story 19. One I want but will never afford. 1967 Shelby GT 500. One I want but will take most of my time. 1932 Ford panel wagon with a custom front end to mimic a skull, with a mural of the Angel of Death on the sides. Story 20. One of the last years of the big General Motors sedans. Fleetwood Brougham, Caprice, and Roadmaster. If I had a choice, a 1991 or 1992 Oldsmobile Custom Cruiser, with an LS3 engine and a 4L80E transmission swap. A full sleeper build, keeping the exterior as stock as possible. I want a comfortable grandma car that can still outperform Mustangs in a highway pull. Story 21. Dream car. Lotus Emira 6-speed manual V6. A dream family car. Audi RS6. Affordable dream car. C8 Corvette Stingray. In a few years when the price makes sense. Car I'm interested in and can buy now but can't because I need to be a responsible adult and save money. Elantra N. Story 22. VW bus, the hippie van, baby, throw the seats in it and carry the friends, then pull the seats out and load the camping gear and take the missus somewhere nice, cruise around town. The style, the vibe, it's just awesome. I don't need to go fast or drift or go off-roading, just go places. Man. Story 23. Good gas mileage. Easy to repair, low maintenance, affordable and reliable. Maybe enough space to haul supplies and a dog. I don't know, but that sounds like the car I want. Story 24. A 2025 Pontiac Firebird Hybrid. With Apple CarPlay, ventilated and memory seats, turn signal, front, and rear cameras. It will obviously never happen, but it is the dream car. Story 25. Lucid Air Sapphire is the ultimate sleeper. It's also a luxury sedan, and I can't reach the pedals if I put the seat all the way back, and I'm 6 feet 4 inches tall. It runs the quarter mile in around 9 seconds and goes from 0 to 60 miles per hour in the low 2-second range. It has a real range of around 400 miles. Story 26. My absolute dream car is to rebuild my 1975 Nissan Cherry F2 on a Nissan Pulsar GT RS platform. However, I also just picked up one of my dream cars, a first-generation Toyota MR2 from 1986. I want to do some suspension work on it due to the understeer issues it has that were remedied in the second and third generations. Dream cars outside that include, for a camping rig, Mitsubishi Delica L300 Crystal Light Edition or 1989 Mitsubishi Pajero Super Exceed. European, Mercedes-Benz 190e February 5, 16 Evolution 2. American, Mossler MT900S Photon. Story 27. I already owned it. 1970 BMW 2800 CS. Story 28. It's always up for change, but for years it's been between the E92/E93 M3 dual clutch transmission or manual. Mustang GT350/R, and the C7Z06, manual but would take automatic if it was in good condition. Some unobtainable ones for me would be the Porsche 992 911 GT3 RS, the Lamborghini Murcielago, Gallardo, or the McLaren P1. Story 29. Attainable dream car was Ford Focus RS, and I had one. I loved it, but it was a mechanical mess, and I got rid of it while I still could. I don't normally get emotional about cars, and maybe I was just sleep-deprived that day, but I welled up a little bit after I signed the papers. Less attainable, a Corvette Stingray from the 1960s or 1970s with the large fenders. Story 30. I was obsessed with the 2006 Lamborghini Gallardo at a young age. Prior, I did purchase a dream car, a 2001 Porsche 911 that I wanted as a kid. I guess it counts, though not new, it was the dream. I had the Car and Driver magazine that I checked it off on in 2001 and still took a picture with it in 2017. Story 31. Honda S2000. I've been wanting that car since watching The Fast and the Furious. But my father-in-law worked at Hyundai and Kia for his entire career, and there's a near-fanatic level of nationalism in my wife's family, so no Honda for me. Story 32. Mini Cooper Countryman and a Lego version of it on the dash. Dream car is an Aston Martin Rapide. Realistically, something to fit all of my soccer gear for coaching, kids, and easy to park would be nice. Story 33. 65 Mustang Fastback. Staying as close to the original as possible but with a better sound system, deck, and lighting. Bright red with white stripes and red and tan leather seats. Story 34. A 125 cubic centimeters shifter cart would be super sweet. I already have the chassis, just need another engine. My Briggs & Stratton 206 needs a new friend. Or a Ferrari F430. Whichever comes first. Story 35. 1999 Buick Park Avenue Ultra. It was my grandpa's car, and I am fixing it up because I'll get to keep it if I do. It is a beast in pretty much every aspect. Supercharged and super comfortable. A family friend of my grandpa kind of messed it up before my grandpa passed. He put the wrong size brake rotors, wrong shocks and struts, and blew out the back speakers. Dealing with it has been surprisingly enjoyable. Story 36. I am at the point of car enthusiasm where I do not care for fancy or fast cars, and I like vintage stuff or odd, unique things from other countries that I cannot find in the United States. Right now, I would like a Lada Niva or a UAZ 469. I know they are not great, but I like the old Soviet Union's dedication to making 4x4 off-road vehicles. Also, I would not mind getting a quirky two-stroke antique European car. Story 37. BMW M3 GTR. Story 38. Everyone thinks I'm weird about wanting this exact car, but the General Lee. For context, I grew up in Mexico, and one of my favorite shows that I used to watch with one of my uncles after working on our farm was Dukes of Hazzard. Being from Mexico, I had no idea what the Confederate flag meant. It just looked cool. I didn't learn about it until I came to the United States. I drive one of my attainable dream cars now, a Mustang GT, but if it weren't so controversial, I would love a replica of the General Lee. Story 39. My dream car has the following. Plenty of legroom in the front and back seat. Minimal screens, preferably a dock for a phone or tablet instead of built-in. Is extremely quiet, both exhaust-wise and in the cabin. An excellent audio setup. Is relatively nondescript. Well-thought-out storage areas and efficient use of space. Great ergonomics and comfort. Fuel efficiency. I don't think it actually exists. Story 40. Currently have a 2021 Aston Martin DB11 that I'm considering trading in for a new Bentley Continental Grand Touring Speed. Not really sure why, because I really don't drive that often, as central London is not a fun place to drive. Now, if I could get the wife to let go of her Mercedes G-Class wagon. She loves it. I hate it. Honestly, it's one of the ugliest vehicles ever. Story 41. Sorry, ever since I got into motorcycles, I want practical, not fast, in a car. So, if I have kids in that dream, Toyota Land Cruiser. If not, then Suzuki Jimny. Story 42. 4 years, I always wanted the 2008 Camaro that was Bumblebee in the first Transformers movie. Now that I am in my late 20s, I realized that car would be so impractical for my life. Story 43. It was a red Prius until Dirty Mike and the boys got a hold of it. Story 44. Scrolled pretty far, but maybe not far enough, and didn't see mine. Realistically, 95 RX-7 with a 3-rotor swap. Dream, launch a Delta, but Rally Edition, 0 to 60 in 2.3 on gravel. Story 45. Impractical but fun, aerial nomad. Slightly more practical, but still fun. Subaru Impreza WRX. Story 46. Thing I will definitely never be able to afford. Koenigsegg Jesko. Thing I may be able to afford, Pigeon, like the one from BeamNG Drive. Yes, it is a real thing, and it is about 11,000 Australian dollars. Story 47. My dream car is an Audi R8. However, right now I'm completely focused on an Audi S3 2020 or newer after buying my house. I really hope to own an Audi S5 or RS5 B9.5 one day. Story 48. My first love was my 2010 BMW Z4 S-Drive 35 is that I bought in 2020 for $74,000 and sold for $70,000 just this June. I also spent $30,000 on repairs and maintenance in my 4-ish years of ownership. No regrets. Now I am lusting after a Lexus LC500 convertible, which is pretty affordable considering I relocated to a country where vehicle ownership is not stupid expensive. Story 49. I own my favorite from my dream car list, the 2003 Subaru Forester Cross Sports. I'd like to drive a Nissan GT-R, but I don't think I'd enjoy it much because it's very much a car that drives itself. Although I love acceleration. The Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 8 is another option, but it's much too pricey to ever consider. And it's a bit too focused, unlike the Forester, which is a nice all-rounder. Nissan Skyline R33 or R32 GT-R. The ultimate impractical choice as well, the Pagani Zonda F Roadster. Story 50. Expensive childish dream, Alpine Alpenglow. Expensive boring adult dream, Rolls-Royce Spectre. Stupid and cheap dream, bright orange painted 1999 Renault Laguna. Story 51. Rodimus Prime. Not only does he transform into a giant robot, but his futuristic space Winnebago mode will give me somewhere to sleep while my wife is with her boyfriend in the house.